Hello everybody, I'm Mike Connell, founder of Boston Making a Difference, here with another episode of BMAD Spotlight. Today with us we have a former Massachusetts girl and now living in Davidson, North Carolina. Her name is Paula Denoncourt, and Paula is a holistic health practitioner, and she's going to share with us today a few things we can do to naturally help ourselves stay better. So Paula, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. Why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are, where you are, and what you do?
All right, thank you so much. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. Let's see. Can you see that okay, Mike?
I can. It looks great. Thanks.
Okay, thank you so much. So here's a little bit about me. I'm a certified holistic health counselor, founder and CEO of Enrich Your Health. That's the name of my business. I retired from the Worcester County Sheriff's Department 2012. I was there for 22 years. I attended the New York School of Integrative Nutrition in 2009. The same time, I also went and became a raw food educator. And that's nothing scary. It's just learning how to eat whole foods without cooking. And all foods have to be heated no more than 115 to 118 degrees. Excuse me. I served 2 years on the Central Mass Lyme Conference Committee, and I'm a public speaker. So today I wanted to talk about the emotions and how it relates to various disease and illnesses. And here's a little bit about me. Like you said, I've moved from Massachusetts to North Carolina, and this is where I am. I'm right on Lake Norman. It's absolutely beautiful. I'm in a condo here right on the lake. I couldn't have asked for anything nicer. So I'm really happy here. These are a few things that I've done in the past in Massachusetts. I did a lecture on allergies for the Worcester City Hospital Nurses Alumni. I did a lecture for Hope for Lyme in Rhode Island. I've done meal prep classes. I've done healthy whole food non-cooking classes. This was a vegetarian sushi class in Worcester, Mass. And that's why there's so many vegetables, because we were doing sushi. Some of the things I love eating healthy, and this was Antiquity in, what do they call it? The Greenway Walkway. It was opening day in Antiquity, Cornelius, North Carolina. I've also talked for breast cancer. This was the Breast Friends Connection in Shrewsbury, Mass. I've been a big advocate for Lyme disease and an advocate for that. So I've supported Lyme disease. And now I want to give you guys an activity, some life stressors I want you to think about. So I know this slide is a little bit difficult to read, so I'm just going to read off a few, and then you can just jot down or think in your head and then jot it down later if any of these things relate to you. So I want you to think of a time that you actually were going through something in life, and then you did get sick after that. So these are some of the life stressors that are high: death of a spouse, divorce or separation, death of a family member, going to prison, or maybe a family member went to prison, personal injury or illness, change in your financial status, such as what we're going through right now, COVID-19. People are losing their jobs. People are changing jobs. So their financial status is changing. And that can be a huge stressor in our lives. Frequent arguing. We could be arguing about money. How are we going to save money, if one person isn't working? Or maybe both not working. Who knows? Foreclosures. We're going through that right now. Huge, huge thing with foreclosures. Maybe someone out there can't pay rent. Trouble with the in-laws. Thought that was a funny one. Change in residence. You might have to move. and then trouble with job or boss. For me, I fell into the category of trouble with my job. I was there 22 years. I was a dispatcher, and it was extremely stressful. I dealt with a lot of things. I dealt with hangings, riots, escapes. Like I said, I worked in a prison. And I dealt with a lot of stress I wasn't supposed to be on by myself, but a lot of times I was on by myself. I worked 3 to 11 and somebody would call in sick or whatever. So I had to deal with it all. And we had, in 1990, we had about 800 inmates. By the time I left, we had about 1,300 inmates. So that just can give you an idea. And it was an all-male prison in Worcester. It was actually located in West Boylston, but it was Worcester County, Massachusetts. So basically what happened to me, my body said, if you don't quit, I will. So I started to develop multiple food allergies and I got sick and I almost died several times, sometimes close to it, even on the job. So my suggestion to you is if you experience anything, just document it all. Even if you don't want to go, you don't want to go to the doctors, you don't want to go to the hospital, just do it so it's documented. Because I made the mistake of just throwing it all under the rug and then it reared its ugly head. Another example is my mom got breast cancer right after my dad died. And this was only a few short months after. So again, you can see how the emotions can play a role in your illness. So now let's look at some of the ways emotions affect and harm our bodies. And like I said, I know this slide is a little hard to read, but you get the idea. Some things you went through in life or are going through. Did you get sick from that? Did you get the flu? Did you get a cold? Something was serious, cancer, Lyme disease, autoimmune, any of those types of things, just think about it and say, oh, wow, I didn't realize that. Or somebody you know, maybe it wasn't you, could be a family member, could be a friend. So just think about it. So let's look at how our emotions harm our body. So anger can weaken your liver, grief weakens your lungs, worry weakens your stomach, stress weakens your heart and brain, and fear weakens your kidneys. So who would have thought that all these things that we're going through day to day, especially right now, we don't know day to day what's going to happen. All these things are affecting us, our liver, our lungs, our stomach, our heart and brain, and our kidneys. So we're going to go a little deeper. So on this slide, I'm going to talk about, I'm going to start with the heart and small intestines. So if you look at the heart and small intestines, it affects negative emotions. The negative emotions it affects are hate, cruelty, impatience. Physically, it causes heart palpitations, high blood pressure, and if you want to follow along, this is where my cursor is, chest pain, okay? And then if we go over here to the liver and gallbladder, the negative emotions it affects are anger, jealousy, and envy, okay? And then physically, it can produce more cholesterol, so higher cholesterol, bile production becomes imbalanced, blood stagnates in the liver, reducing its ability, to detoxify the body. So let's look at the spleen. Let's see. So the spleen affects negative emotions. Oh, there it is, right there. Worry, anxiety, mistrust. Physically, impaired digestion, and difficulty eliminating waste, which that's huge. That can contribute to cancer if we're not getting rid of our waste, or just being bloated, having food allergies, all of those things, food sensitivities, all those things. Lungs and large intestines, the negative emotions are sadness and depression. Physically, this affects our breathing, decreased oxygen and blood, decreased oxygen in the blood, and constipation. So if you look at that right now, COVID affects the lungs. So you want to, just keep that in mind, that if you're going through sadness or you're depressed, and many people are right now, these are the problems that it can affect, okay? Your breathing. All right, and constipation, look at what are you holding on to? Maybe you should be, talking to someone, either a professional or a friend. If you're holding all those emotions in, they're going to come out somewhere in your body.
I
And
was going to
then,
crack a joke there, Paula, but I'll be nice about it.
that's okay. And then your kidneys are negative emotions are fear, loss of sexual energy, body becomes acidic, and when the body becomes acidic, it becomes ill. We need to live in an alkaline environment. The nervous system becomes stressed and loss of life force. Some people just feel like, it's not worth living right now. There's just so much going on. Okay. So like I said, they may need a professional, or maybe they just need friends. They need somebody to support them right now. So let's go a little deeper. We'll look at some of our emotions and some other things that it can affect in our bodies. So for example, neck pain. This will make you laugh. If you're having neck pain, is there somebody or something, some situation that's a pain in your neck right now? It's causing neck pain. Your shoulders. Have you ever heard the expression, holding the weight of the world on your shoulders? Many of us are.
I
Um,
think I think many people are going through that right now. With job worries and health
right,
worries.
right,
They feel they've got the weight of the world on their shoulders.
right.
Yeah.
And here's a perfect example. I was in, I don't know, a group in Facebook, and this woman was saying, I've been having excruciating back pain on the top of my shoulders. And, I'm a true believer in God. Anybody watching, if you're not, that's okay. But she wanted prayer. And I said, you need to give that to God, because you're holding everything on your shoulders. She didn't realize that. So just that alone, just knowing that she was holding everything on her shoulders, actually released some of it, to just know it. She just thought it was all physical. Didn't realize there was an emotional underlying root to that.
Prayer can be a
Um,
great.
Go ahead.
I said prayer can be a great healer.
Absolutely. And I'm a true believer in that. And like I said, if anybody watching doesn't believe in that, that's okay. But I'm a believer in that. So between the prayer and just knowing that, what is that underlying root that's causing that, relieved her. So we need to look at these things, whole picture. And I'm not going to read the whole slide, but I will just read a couple. So like on the spine, the upper is a lack of emotional support, feeling unloved, holding back love. Some people really feel unloved right now because they can't see their loved ones. Some older people can't see their loved ones. They're in nursing homes. They're feeling totally rejected and abandoned, which is so sad. Your lower back can be fear of money, lack of financial support. Your hips can be fear of going forward in major decisions and accepting new experiences. Your knees are a level of flexibility in life, inability to bend, fear, inflexibility, won't give in, humility, stubborn, pride, and ego. And arthritis, think about this one. How many in the world are going through joint pain? They've got all this pain in their body. Think of negative emotions as eroding the body like acid, inflammation caused by resentment and bitterness of bottled up hurt, causing pain. Digestive problems. How many people have this right now? This was my issue. Food allergies, food sensitivities. I still, I'm probably about 95% better, but my digestion's a little weak. So imbalance between rational mind and emotions, mental digestion, mirrored in physical digestion. So like I said a little bit earlier, what are you holding on to? Everything goes right to our gut. I worked in a prison for 22 years and I didn't even realize it's a negative environment. I was sucking all that in and I didn't speak my mind half the time. So you hold all that in, it goes to your gut. It's got to go somewhere. So And then cancer is something eating away at you, deep secret hatred or guilt, lack of self nurturing in your life. So these are just some things to consider and think about. And then these are some thoughts that go through our mind and affect us physically. So like your throat could be fear, anger, despair, and this is what you would be saying to yourself. I should have never said that. They wouldn't listen. Nobody understands me. I hate them. How many people at work do this? How many people out there at work do this? I used to do it. I mean, we do
No,
it all
I
the
never
time.
did anything like that.
I used to do it, and then, I always did have throat problems. It's because I was never speaking my voice. Your head, heaviness, headache, mild depression, tensions, obsessive thinking. So this is, again, let's talk about a thought. It's weighing me down. I can't stop thinking about it. I'm getting so stressed. Again, the shoulders, it's my fault. I got to take it on. I can't do enough. Again, some people are really, really going through this right now. Sometimes, especially in marriages, sometimes a man thinks that he has to hold everything together. And if he lost his job right now, he's thinking, oh my God, what am I going to do? I've got to take care of this family. I'm not saying always, but sometimes, because I know times are changing and things are different everywhere, but sometimes that's the norm. So in your back, insecurity, no support, fear of loss. So you get the picture, stomach tension, dread, anxiety. Sometimes when you get the butterflies in your stomach, that gut feeling affects your stomach. Your chest, sadness, grief, sense of loss. So those are just some things. Like I said, I'm not going to read everything on the slide. We'll be here all day. But just to give you some ideas of what thoughts go through our head and then how they affect us physically. So this is the emotional energy centers of the body. And again, I've talked about some of these, but we'll talk about a few. The throat is lack of trust, inability to speak your mind. Like I said before, I worked in a prison and us employees just didn't have a say. Sadly, unless you're higher up, the higher ups could have a say, but the underneath, they didn't want to hear it. They didn't want to know anything from us about anything. Even when we were getting accredited and all of that, they just didn't want to know. It was all the higher ups that would make all the decisions.
Which affects
Um,
your self-worth and your self-esteem and
mhm.
you know,
Yeah, it's really tough. I don't know how it is now. And not to talk bad about the place, but that's just the way it was. It was just, they just didn't want to hear it from the little people, I guess you could say. People up a little higher, they'd have meetings every week, they would do all of that. But when we said, hey, I think you should do something this way, it'd be better for us, especially we knew what was going on, right, in our area and our expertise of doing it every day. It was,
on
we
the
think
leadership,
this way. Yeah,
take leadership and listen to everybody.
yeah. So that was just one of the things, and it affects you because you feel like you're not being listened to, nobody cares. So those are some things. Our adrenals right now are being totally taxed because we're stressed. Trying to see if I can find it on the slide. I can't. But the other thing we hold on to is fear, losing control. Right now, none of us feel like we're in control. We don't know one day to the next. We don't, especially, these kids are going back to school. Are they going back to school? Are they being homeschooled? If they are going back to school, people are like, oh my God, is my kid going to get sick? There's a lot going on right now. All these things affect us. As we talked about earlier, the gut um, gets affected, our digestion gets affected, the female cycle gets affected, and these things can go back, and this is all here, old stuff center. Trapped emotions in this area can cause problems with the gut, digestion, and the female cycle. So things like we can go back to childhood. Things happened in our childhood. There could be trauma in our childhood. It could be verbal abuse. You could have been told things like you're never going to amount to anything, or you're no good. Or, people do this and they don't realize that it affects a kid for life. They don't get over it. They don't get through it. It could be worse. There could be physical trauma that a kid went through, either physical abuse or sexual abuse, rape even. All these things get stuck in our body and affects us physically. So those are some things to think about. So it just depends on what the incident was. For me, one of the things that I had happen to me, this is more of a mind thing, I guess, but I fell down the stairs when I was like, I don't even know, maybe 4 years old. And it was full blown down the cellar stairs, totally all the way down. I remember seeing my dad at the bottom of the stairs. Till this day, I still have dreams of falling down the stairs, and I still have a fear of any stairs without a railing. So people make fun of me because, I could be at a concert, well, not so much anymore, but, or something, and there's no railing, and I just like freak out. It's still in my mind. It's still there. It's still like, I don't want to fall.
Trauma
So
lasts a long time.
yeah, so some of these things just affects us and you just don't know. Um, another thing is guilt. Sometimes we hold on to guilt. Again, especially like with elderly parents right now being in nursing homes, we feel guilty that they're in there and that we can't see them and be with them. You know, for me, my parents aren't around anymore, but I do understand that a lot of people are going through things like this. So, you feel guilty, or even maybe if, God forbid, one of them has passed away and you weren't able to be with them. All this, if you don't talk to somebody and let it out or do something, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, some ways to help yourself, it will rear its ugly head in some way in your body, unfortunately. So those are some things to look at. Rejection is another one that affects us. Abandonment, that can cause pain in the heart. Like that. Sometimes they say died of a broken heart, like one significant other dies and then the other one dies right after. That's why. It's that all this, just little things just affect us. So how many of you are feeling like this right now? You're stressed, there's just so much going on, and you're like, I can't,
How'd you
I'm
get
out.
my picture? Where'd you get that?
How, like, I don't know about you, but some days I feel like this, you're watching the news and you just like, I don't even watch the news, but I'll get it on like Facebook, social media or whatever. And I just see some of these things and I'm just like, I can't even believe what I'm seeing. I don't know if anybody saw The Matrix, but it's like, okay, maybe I took the wrong pill, the red pill or the blue pill. Maybe I chose the wrong one. I don't know. But there's just so much craziness going on and things are stressful. And I'm sure right now more than ever with that big decision of kids going back to school or not going back to school or being homeschooled, people are just like, like, what do I do now? So, and then some people are trying to just act like they have it all together because they have to. They have to for their family, for their kids, for everybody. So I just put this up there. A lot of people saying it's great, I'm great, everything's just great. And and even on another note, I told you I helped a lot with Lyme disease and a big Lyme advocate. A lot of people out there with autoimmune illness or Lyme disease, they don't want people to feel sorry for them all the time. So they're always saying, I'm great, I'm okay, but they're not okay. They're not feeling well
That was
every
my
day.
mother. She had so much pain from things, and she'd always say, "I'm fine, I'm good,"
Oh,
when you knew it wasn't true.
no, that's so sad. Yeah. So just keep that in mind with some people. They might say I'm great, but they're not. They're not. So just make sure if you know anybody that does have some issues, check on them and see how they're doing. Because they're scared to get out there. They're scared to get COVID. They're scared, you know what I mean? They're especially the elderly, they're really afraid to get out there. They're staying home because they don't want to get sick, so just keep that in mind. Keep that in the back of your mind. So let's look at some of the different things stress affects the body. Okay, so In the brain, you have difficulty concentrating. It causes anxiety, depression, irritability, mood, brain fog. It affects the heart, things like high blood pressure, heart attack, and stroke. In the joints and muscles, talked about this a little earlier, it can cause inflammation, tension, aches, pains. In the immune system, it's a decreased immune function, lowered immune defense, increased risk of becoming ill, increased in recovery time. In the skin, hair loss, so you might have, I'm seeing a lot about this actually recently. Like on my Facebook page, people are talking about things in their skin and losing their hair and all different things. It's all stress. It's all stress related. In the gut, you may not absorb your nutrients correctly, so that'll cause you to be more tired, more fatigued. Diarrhea, constipation, bloating, pain. You may have a knot in your stomach all the time. In the reproductive system, decreased hormone production, decrease in the libido, and increased PMS symptoms. So this one is similar to the last one, but there are just a couple that I just wanted to touch on. So things like in the pancreas, elevated secretions of insulin could lead to diabetes. In the stomach, you could get nausea, ulcers. We didn't talk about that. In the skin, more like some people get lots of eczema because of stress. So these, you know, we've talked about a lot of these, so I'm not going to go into all of them, but you can see how stress can just really affect a lot of different things. I truly believe some of us just have underlying issues, and then once we get stressed, those underlying issues come out. So for me, it was food allergies and food sensitivities because I got so stressed out. For my mom, it was cancer. You know, look at people around you, look at yourself. What kind of stresses in your life have caused issues in your body? So again, just a couple here we'll just touch on that we didn't talk about. In the mouth, you could get mouth ulcers. Let's see. In the lungs, wheezing and bronchodilation, you know, just difficulty breathing. Let's see, high blood pressure. We talked about a lot of these, so I won't go through them. But you can see what can really happen with that. So here are some of the long-term stress factors. Headaches, depression, anxiety, forgetfulness, muscle pain, more likely to catch a cold or the flu, increase in diabetes risk, weight gain, acne, rosacea flare-up, high blood pressure, heart attacks, diarrhea, constipation, and sexual problems. And again, we talked about a lot of these, but I'll just talk about a few. Chronic fatigue, from constant worrying, lots of irritability going on right now. I mean, I see that on social media. People are fighting constantly over stupid things. So there probably could be a lot of that going on in the family. You know, alcoholism is high right now. People are really turning to alcohol. One thing I noticed, I worked in a grocery store part-time during this pandemic. I'm not anymore, thankfully, is people were coming through with overloaded cart after overloaded cart, and they just had it really surprised me. Lots and lots of junk food, lots of alcohol. And I thought about this, and even myself, I was kind of craving some comfort foods too. I think because comfort food, things we grew up on, brings a moment of time of joy. So like for me, I grew up on going to the drive-ins, which those are coming back, which is so funny. You know, we'd go to the drive-ins, mom would make homemade chocolate chip cookies. So now I love chocolate chip cookies. When we went on vacation, we
Who
had
doesn't?
homemade
Chocolate
chocolate chip
cook.
cookies. Yeah. that's for me. Or Christmas time. It was a treat, so even till this day when I see a chocolate chip cookie, I'm like, I want that. Um, so those are some things to think about. Are you overeating because you're stressed and eating the junk food because it brought a moment of joy in your life at some point? It's an emotional trigger, and I think a lot of people are really going through that right now. um, and alcohol, I'm seeing a lot of people, they're drinking, they're partying. Alcohol lowers the immune system. I don't want to be the bad bearer of bad news. Have a little bit here and there, fine. But you're seeing people get together on beaches or wherever, and then they wind up with COVID. Well, let me tell you, if they're drinking, it's probably because of the alcohol. And they may have underlying issues as well, and they're lowering their immune system, and that's why they're coming down with the illness.
Right.
It's not to say healthy people can't get it too. I have seen healthy people get it, but it's giving you a much higher chance of getting it.
Right.
So it's just something to think about. You want to keep hydrated. I have heard that drinking a lot of water is flushing out the body, so that helps eliminate the illness if you were to get it. I'm not going to say it can cure it. Nothing cures anything. And these doctors out there saying this, and this can cure. I'm actually surprised, because I give people the tools to help them help themselves, but no practitioner can say we can cure, heal, or anything. You just do the best you can with food, with diet, with lifestyle, and hopefully, if all goes well, you've helped yourself get better. But nobody can cure, nothing can cure anything. We just we can reverse it and do our best. But it's just funny that they say that, because there's no proof of that. Anyway, that's my rant for today. But yeah, so you can just see all the different things. Oh, we didn't talk about sleep, so we'll talk a little bit about that in 1 second. And what it affects in our body. So let's talk about sleep, and this will be one of the last things we talk about. So sleep deprivation. How many of us are up at night right now because there's so much going on? Worried about money. We're worried about, if we're going to have a place to live tomorrow. We're going, so many things. Trying to find another job, whatever it might be. So it can cause irritability, cognitive impairment. That usually means you can't focus, type of things like that. Memory loss, hallucinations even. And some people, like truck drivers, they don't sleep. This can happen to them on the road. Similar symptoms to ADHD, can't pay attention. Impaired immune system, risk of diabetes too. Increased heart rate variability, risk of heart disease. Decreased reaction time and accuracy, tremors, aches, and other. Growth suppression, risk of obesity, decreased temperature. So these are some symptoms of not getting enough sleep. So now let's talk about the good news. What can we do to control our emotions and help us prevent illness or disease? And not just COVID. Like I said, I've been an advocate for Lyme disease. So even things like Lyme disease, if your body is healthy, you can fight off these things a lot easier. Cancer, Lyme, autoimmune. I do see a lot of lupus here in North Carolina, all these types of things. So recognize the situation. Express your emotions. Like I said earlier, don't hold it all in. Either talk to a friend, or if you need a professional, then talk to a professional. We talked about this earlier. For me, I pray. I'm a true believer in prayer. Some people just meditate. Do something you enjoy. Have some fun. I mean, we've been locked up. If you have a yard, get out there and garden, grow your own food. I mean, you're going to feel a lot better just eating your own food, because there'll be less toxicity in the food. If you can go golfing, watch funny movies. I've been doing that. I've been trying to watch like feel-good movies just to escape it all sometimes, you know? You just need to do something to get rid of all this negativity around you. Be creative. Right now, more than ever, more creative people are coming out. Write your experiences maybe that you're going through right now with all of this. Maybe someday that will help someone. Um, don't say to yourself, oh, I can't write a book. Get the outline done and then get someone to help you. There might be
Right?
somebody out there that can help you. Ebooks are so easy to do right now. Just get the outline done, jot it all down, and then somebody will help you, you know,
Mhm.
because that might be just what somebody needs
Great for the
to
personal
read.
brand too. Write a book.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. So those are some things, right? Paint, you know, art can be very healing and therapeutic to the person doing the art, but even the person looking at the art. So you never know. What is it you can learn right now? Oh my God, there's so many things you can learn. Here's a tip. Go on Udemy, Udemy, or Skillshare.com. And where it says, you know, search for courses, if say money is an issue, go under price and you can see a thing that says free. They have tons of free courses. You can learn everything from business to finances to art to music, whatever it might be. Just search it. And if you don't want to pay, you can pay for it too. The prices aren't that bad. Just see what you want to do. See what you want to learn. Do you need to maybe fix your credit? Maybe you just want to learn how to do some artwork. Maybe you want to learn how to do digital artwork. I don't know. Sky's the limit. Maybe you want to learn more about nutrition. You just go on those two, and those are a great way to learn more things. Exercise boosts your mood. Um, get outside. I keep telling everybody this. Like I said, some people are getting COVID that have been outside, but I truly believe they had underlying issues or they were doing things to lower their immune system to begin with, like drinking, eating junk food, eating like garbage. Um, but for the most part, in most cases, disease cannot live where there's oxygen. The sun gives you vitamin D, which boosts the immune system. And like I said, the exercise with getting outside, walking, you're just going to feel better. So just keep that in mind. Again, can't stress enough, eat healthy. Get greens in your diet, Greens, as much as possible. That'll keep you alkaline and keep you from, help prevent you from getting ill because your body won't be as acidic. So you want greens like spinach and kale, collard greens. You could do like wraps with romaine lettuce leaves. You really want to do that. Another way to keep alkaline is lemon or lime water, those types of things. Um,
Or
uh,
alkaline water. I drink alkaline water every day.
yeah, you can buy alkaline water. Yep, I do that as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
I
that
use
helps
alkaline water.
alkalize you.
It's just awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then again, like I was saying, I don't watch TV anymore, but now of course it's all on, you know, when I first started with social media, I was loving it because I could kind of pick and choose what news stories to say, okay, yeah, I believe that, I don't believe that. Now there's just so much garbage. You don't even know what's true anymore. And it's like, man, you don't even know what to block out. So if you
Even
can,
fake news is fake.
it's just terrible. It's like you just don't even know what to believe anymore. It's just, you know, I thank God I have the gift of discernment, but to a point, um, I don't always know what's fake or what's real, or you know what I mean. And it can really be, it's tough, like I said, because everybody's on there arguing, and I really try to stay away from most of it. You know, I'm not, I don't
I stay away
engage
from all
as
of that. I
much.
don't get involved in any of that.
Yeah, I do my best not to engage in much of it, you know, but once in a while I'll do a little share or whatever, and then I'm sorry I did. But anyway, on that note, I just say if you can unplug from it, because it is addictive, probably right now more than ever, we're just scrolling, it's something to do. And it feeds on us, you know, it causes us to get like angry and upset and worried, you know, oh my God, the world's coming to an end. And, you know, so if you can unplug, get outside, go for a walk, do something else, do it. You're going to feel so much better. And I truly believe too, I think it makes you more tired scrolling all the time, and it does something to you. I really think it really makes you more tired. I have no proof on that. This is my own opinion, but I really think it just makes you tired. Maybe you just get mentally tired from looking at all the garbage. I don't know. And then, like I said, spend time with your friends if you have some friends. Just do something. I mean, things are somewhat open now, so thankfully you can do these things. So those are my suggestions. That's my good news. I don't want to be all bad news. And then I have an offer for everyone. If I've been hearing and I've been seeing everybody saying I'm suffering from the quarantine 15, they've been home eating. And like I said, I saw this at the grocery store, and I see it on Facebook. Everybody's been cooking and eating and eating and cooking and eating all the garbage. They've been baking, and they're gaining weight because they weren't getting out to even walk or do anything. So if you're out there and you're feeling tired, bloated, you're not motivated, you can't focus, if the answer to that is yes, I have a total body cleanup challenge starting August 31st. And the best way to sign up for that is you can just text me at this number, 508-330-9665. Just put cleanup challenge in the subject. Or if you don't want to text, you can just do my email, enrichyourhealth1@gmail.com, and put cleanup challenge in the subject line, and then I'll send you all the information about that. And you can sign up for that. And then, so just so you know a little bit about it, it's a 28-day total cleanup body challenge. You're going to get weekly sheets, cheat sheets, tracker to set up your success, motivational emails and check-ins, weekly tips and recipes, 24-hour access to the forum, which will be a Facebook group, and a chance to get prizes. So what's more exciting than that? Who doesn't want prizes?
Oh,
So
everyone wants to win.
Yeah. So what I've been seeing is many people are now they're sick of eating all the junk food and the crap and feeling like crap, and they want to start feeling better. So this isn't just about losing weight. This is about feeling better. Let's get you feeling better. This virus is going to have more strains. The flu's going to go around again. Let's get our bodies cleaned up and our immune system's up so we don't get these illnesses that come in the fall and the winter.
Right.
And last but not least, I just want to thank everyone for joining me today. I hope this helped you in some way so you can prevent further illness for you or even someone you know, and can be the ripple effect. This is my contact info. Paula Denoncourt, Richer Health, and then that's my website. And then I did promise free gifts. So I have a Reversing Illness Part 1 ebook and an immunity support 6-day meal plan guide on this website, bit.ly/Enrich Your Health store. And you can go on there and you'll just see those two items for $0 in that store. And if you have any problems or whatever, you can always email me and I'll reach out to you. And that's it. I just want to thank you again. Thank you, Mike, for having me. This was awesome.
Paula, thanks so much for taking the time today. That was a great presentation, a lot of good tips. You shared a lot of good things for people to do to get themselves feeling better and feeling happier and getting through this COVID-19, because it has been a long stretch now, and hopefully we're coming out of it soon. So I do appreciate you being here with us today in Massachusetts, even though you're in North Carolina.
I know, which is so exciting to really still be able to do things in Massachusetts without having to actually physically be there.
That's awesome.
I find that exciting. I've taught in Boston.
Yeah, it's been hot and humid for a while now.
What's that?
It's been hot and humid for a while now here.
Yeah, you guys have had crazy weather. Oh my goodness. That last storm that went through Western Mass.
Yeah.
I was looking at that, and I gotta say, in all my years of living in Massachusetts, I've never seen a storm hit such a wide area. I don't think. That hit Connecticut and Western, where I used to live.
Right.
The trees were down, it was just insane. I don't think I've ever seen anything such widespread. Usually it's more targeted, a couple of towns, you know what I mean? Never, that was really wise. I mean, some people are just getting their power back. It's crazy.
Right. Well,
But yeah.
we're back to just hot and humid. So I appreciate you being here today with us, and for our audience, thanks for tuning in, and see you at the next episode of BMAD Spotlight. Thanks, Paula.
Thank you. Thank you again for having me. This was great.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
everyone attending.
Okay, take care.